Hey guys, I'm a gaming potato, and today I've got a new blueprint I've designed for Factorio. This is specifically for creating a modular mall. So I've got all my blueprints down here. To start off with, we have the base mall. This has been designed to be as simple and as bare bones as possible so that you can get it up very early game. You can see we have a bunch of inputs. But some of these inputs end early because they're not necessary this early in the game. They're just kind of preemptively built here so you know they're ready to go. So this mall, we have a lot of our basic components here. You can see everything it's going to build, as well as a construction area for gears and green circuits. For our inputs over here, we can just kind of follow along with these belts. You can see this belt is heading here and splitting off over here where it's feeding into these copper wires. So this belt is going to be copper. The belt beside it over here is splitting off over this way, and it's producing gears for us. So we have copper in, iron in. That's going to give us our gears and our green circuits. But it's also splitting off down the first line of the belt here. So the first belt going this way and going this way. So this means the first belt line here is going to be full of copper and iron plates, and the second belt is going to be full of gears and green circuits. This is going to allow us to build everything that's on this list. And we can set our buffers here to however many of each component we want it to build. So you have some of the most important things being built first: assemblers, miners, power poles, and then less important stuff as we go along. Down here we have our yellow logistics. And this will get you up and running as early game as possible with all your basic components. But because this is a modular mall, we then have modular sections that we can add onto the mall for more production. And that's where these other lines come in, which we'll see once we start adding sections. So one of the first sections we would add is our power add-on. So we can see we've got our section here. We'll just align it like this. And now we're going to be producing tier 2 power poles and our long power poles. But we can see this starts to use our third and fourth belts here. Well, specifically our third belt. So now we would just want to extend this belt line here. So now we're going to have to start bringing in new materials like steel. And for our iron poles, we can see iron pole is built right into the blueprint, so nothing additional needs to be added there. So this second belt here is going to be bringing in steel as well as stone bricks. And those stone bricks are then going to be added with our steel furnace add-on here. So now we're producing steel furnaces. We can see we need steel and stone bricks. Then maybe we want to add our tier 2 assemblers. We can add that down here. And we can see that's going to start pulling in steel as well. And it makes it very simple. There's basically no additional logistics work that needs to be done to bring these materials in. You've got your steel already here. Everything else is being produced. Tier 1 assemblers are built right into this blueprint, so they are being fed directly into the Tier 2 assembler. Maybe now we've unlocked a car and we want to build a couple cars. Well, we'll just throw in our car blueprint. And now we're going to be producing cars and storing them for future use. Then maybe after cars, we want trains. We've got a big mall extension here for our trains. This is going to be producing all train components. So we have our train stops, our fluid train cars, our cargo train cars, and of course the train engines themselves, with all components they need that aren't originally on the bus being built right on site. So we've got our engines and everything for our locomotive being built right here in the blueprint. Now after that, maybe we're starting to move to chemical science. So we can throw in our chemical blueprint here. And now we're producing pump jacks, chem labs, and our refineries as well, with all intermediary parts being built right on site. Now maybe we want to transition to solar power, so we can throw in our solar blueprint, which will start producing solar panels for us. Now this may not produce a massive amount. If you're trying to produce a huge amount very quickly, you would probably want a dedicated blueprint for this. But to produce a solid amount of solar panels over time, this should be fine. After that, we have our stack inserters. So we've got a very simple blueprint for this. Everything built right into the blueprint. And then so yeah, this is now using the fourth belt. And this fourth belt is now bringing in red circuits. So we've gotten far enough in our add-ons that we're using this third belt here. This is going to be bringing in red circuits and concrete. And concrete is going to be used for our nuclear power here. But maybe before we go to nuclear, we want our logistics. So we can add our Roboport and logistics here, producing all of our logistics boxes as well as Roboports themselves. Now we want to transition to nuclear. So we have our nuclear mall add-on, producing everything we need for nuclear parts here. Well, almost everything. You can see now we're going to need our concrete here. So you got concrete and red belts coming in here. But we might want to add here in the nuclear reactor, because we need so many of these components, if you want to build these quick, it may be worth it to manually bring in a couple extra parts like some of these copper plates or maybe the concrete, just because a lot of these parts are going to use a lot of components. So we need lots of concrete and lots of red circuits to make most of these parts. Even copper, we need lots of copper. So it could be worth it to just hand bring in a bunch of copper to feed these quickly to get the parts you need fast. Then afterwards, you can let them build over time if you're not in a rush to get your nuclear setup built. Now we can start moving to the final one here. And we have our beacons. Here's our beacon blueprint. And again, producing everything we need directly in the mall. So these are all the components I have for it. If I go into my blueprint, I can see I got my mall section here. Here's my mall with all of the mall add-ons. Now, of course, over time, you can use your upgrade planner. You can upgrade all of these to Tier 2 or Tier 3 assemblers. You can see we've already got, because we're pretty late game when we build nuclear, these are already Tier 2 assemblers. You could upgrade your Tier 1s to Tier 2, Tier 3 assemblers. You can upgrade your belts to red or more advanced belts to produce more components. Even with your gears and green circuits, you could extend this further down the middle here. You can see there's lots of empty space to produce more of those as well. It really depends what you need, how much of it you need, and how fast you need it. But this is a great modular mall for slowly building up over time with additional add-ons for any other components you may want to build. And it keeps things quick and simple. So again, we've got copper and iron. The copper and iron do have to go in specific locations. So this has to be copper, this has to be iron. These other belts, it doesn't matter what you put where, just as long as this one here is running steel and stone bricks on either one, and this one is running red circuits and concrete on either one. And now you have a great mall. And say you wanted to add something onto this mall that isn't here. Like say you wanted to add a radar. We can look to see what our radar takes. We got iron plates, gears, and green circuits. all of that is already on the bus. So all we need to do, I'm just going to grab some parts here. So I would grab an assembler, set that to my radar. Let's use yellow here. I'm going to need a long arm, a short arm, and another power pole. Get our storage in the back. And there, now I can grab iron plates, gears, and green chips. And so that's super simple to do. You know, if I wanted, I could add this section here to maybe my military blueprint. Let's see, where is... Oh, actually, I might have skipped the military blueprint. Let's just take a look here. Going to the mall. Yes, I do have my military blueprint here as well. So this is just simple military. You know, you got red, bullets, and guns. But this could be a good place to add a radar as well. So I could take this radar blueprint. And just like that, I could add it to my military blueprint if I wanted. This is a revised version of my original mall design, where I had all of these components coming down one side. But you can imagine if all of this was coming down one side like this, how long this mall is. It's just way too long. Now, if you prefer length over width, then that's great. You can make this blueprint much skinnier, but it would be longer. But I prefer to go this way, as it adds a bit of extra width to the blueprint, but the length of it is massively reduced, which does mean it fits more in line with my main bus style. So you can see here's my actual mall. So I'm running red belts, tier 2, and some tier 3 assemblers over here. But you can see it more fits in line with the length I've got for some of my other lines, factory lines here for what I'm building. And then you can see my inputs here. And then I like to build a little storage area / garbage can right by my mall for moving junk around. So that's all I've got for this episode. If you would like to find this blueprint, you can find a link to the description for all of my blueprints. You can see I've got a lot of blueprints here. I've got all the blueprints stored online for anybody to use. If you enjoy my content, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll have more episodes soon. Alright, thanks. Bye.